So I'm the editor-in-chief of Wired Magazine.
Today we are talking to James Perloff, contributing editor to the New American Magazine and the author of, amongst other works, the best-selling and highly recommended expose of the Council on Foreign Relations, The Shadows of Power. His new book is Truth is a Lonely Warrior, Unmasking the Forces Behind Global Destruction, and he can be found at jamesperloff.com. Mr. Perloff, thank you very much for joining us today on the Corbett Report. I would like to think, I assume that most of the people in the Corbett Report audience will already be familiar with the Council on Foreign Relations, at the very least in general terms, as an ominous influence over American foreign policy and something that's really invaded and infested the U.S. State Department. And now, the idea that this organization really was created specifically for the purpose of indoctrinating the American public into the idea of becoming part of this new world order, new international order, the world government, what have you, is something that, again, you document exhaustively in your book. And I'll just turn to the opening section where you do a very effective quotation from a few different publications in CFR history from different eras, just to show that this is a constant theme in their publications, going right back to the second ever edition of Foreign Affairs, the CFR's official publication, where there was an article that wrote that said, "Obviously, there is going to be no peace or prosperity for mankind so long as it remains divided into 50 or 60 independent states. Equally obviously, there is going to be no steady progress in civilization or self-government among the more backward peoples until some kind of international system is created, which will put an end to the diplomatic struggles incident to the attempt of every nation to make itself secure. The real problem today is that of world government." And then a 1944 Council publication, the American Public Opinion and Post-War Security Commitments, which noted, "The sovereignty fetish is still so strong in the public mind that there would appear to be little chance of winning popular assent to American membership in anything approaching a super-state organization." Again, this goes on in 1959 in study number 7, Basic Aims of U.S. Foreign Policy, talking about building a new international order. You cite the 1974 edition of Foreign Affairs, talking about the hard road to world order. Fall 1984 edition of Foreign Affairs, including a piece by Kurt Waldheim, the former Secretary General of the UN and a former Nazi, writing again about how sovereign entities need to be subject to a higher authority, talking about international organizations. Again, this is not some idea that conspiracy theorists are trying to insert on the CFR framework. It is something that is absolutely baked into the cake.
So I'm the editor-in-chief of Wired Magazine.
Hi, my name is Dave Voits. I'm a former naval officer and a graduate of the United States Naval Academy. I do public outreach for victims of contract stalking and cyber stalking. While I was in the service, I learned that there are groups of current and former members of the military and intelligence communities who take contract jobs that involve stalking, harassing, and slandering targeted civilians in order to intimidate them into silence and to discredit them. The contracts are being funded by wealthy individuals, corporations, and political organizations, and the perpetrators come from backgrounds in counterintelligence, special warfare, and psychological warfare. The situation is aggravated in that these contract stalkers are using a particularly advanced weapon in their psychological warfare campaigns. You may have heard a bit about these types of weapons in the coverage of the attacks on the U.S. diplomats in Cuba and China. These attacks on civilians are highly illegal, and the weapons are only supposed to be used in a narrow set of circumstances on an enemy combatant in a declared war abroad. This use of weapons on civilians would be the equivalent of, say, the sarin nerve gas attacks on the civilians in Syria.